Hi everyone, because it was such a lovely day today, I decided to film a couple of videos, and this one is rather special. I'm going to take you now into the churchyard of St. Peter's Church in Woolton village. So before we head inside, you've got the beautiful entrance here, and what I am going to do is just take you up to the war memorial here. There's about St. Peter's, Kip Crooks and Graham Paisley. But just let's go to the memorial here and see that it says just one word. This is the November 1918. Lots and lots of people in this village lost their lives during the First World War, and so the one word it says is peace, and that's something John Lennon will have seen many times, and that's quite lovely. The birds are singing, the sun is shining, so let's head into the graveyard and I'll show you some special people. This is on most tours. Oh, it's so lovely. I haven't been here for a long time and I'm so happy to be here, to be honest with you. Sounds weird that I'm happy to be in a cemetery, doesn't it? But wow, it's just so gorgeous and I've missed it. This is my lockdown diary. We're still in lockdown in the UK, but we're allowed to go for a drive and a walk, and so this is probably the most walking I've done for a while, and I'm walking around cemeteries. So let's just focus on a few graves, shall we? First of all, people say to look at Martha my dear, and John Mackenzie, Father Mackenzie. It isn't, it's just a big coincidence, but there is a grave here. Also a coincidence, but one that's been latched onto. So I'm going to show you the grave of none other than Eleanor Rigby. Wow, last time I came it was the spring flowers, and now we've got all these lovely pink things that I don't know what they're called. I missed the bluebells this year. Now listen, notice I'm standing here. I don't believe it's right to walk over graves if you can help it, and so don't walk over there and stand on the grave, just look at it from a distance. And so I'm going to zoom in now and hope we can see. Right, hang on a minute, we'll start at the top and come down. So it's got my dear husband John Rigby. Come further down, also Francis, and Eleanor Rigby is there too. Beloved wife of Thomas Woods. So that's the Eleanor Rigby grave that you've either seen or heard about. It's another nice view of it from over here actually. Now look over there, see the big pointed roof? That's St. Peter's Church Hall, and that's supposedly where, well not supposedly, that is the day where Lennon met McCartney at the day of the St. Peter's Summer Fete on the 6th of July 1957. That's where they were hanging out. I'll do that for another day. But if we zoom in from here, I love this view of Eleanor Rigby. We zoom in. There she is. We know she's not the Eleanor Rigby from the song. Paul McCartney tells a different story. And to be honest, I'm not going to tell you. Because you can come on a proper tour, can't you? And those who've been on a tour with me will know the full story. But I'm just doing a little taster of these things for when you do eventually come on a tour. There's another couple of graves here that we've discovered quite recently, and it's through really deep research that that we found. Oh, there's some more Rigbys there. Because I'm not on a tour and because I'm spotting different things, we've got John Rigby, Elizabeth Mary Rigby, another John. Yeah. Oh, and William Stanley. Stanley is the Lennon name, isn't it? So we've discovered some other graves just through sheer research, and together with Graham here we found the grave of another one of John's family, not his blood relatives, but the father of Uncle George, George Toogood Smith. we found it and we cleaned it all up. And now we know where it is. The church didn't know, and we had to go through all the church records and everything. In fact, I'm tempted to just switch it off because everyone else will be claiming it in the tours, but never mind, let's be generous. As a Blue Badge guide, we do go into a lot of detail. I'm sorry, I am standing on the graves here. I'm not even sure if people are in these graves. I'm not sure how the layout is, but there's no other way around it for these people. And I'm so sorry, everybody. But here we are. I'm going to show you now the grave of George Toogood. So Francis Smith was the father of Uncle George, John Lennon's Uncle George. And Mary Ellen would have been his mother. Anne Benson was the lady who started the dairy farm, which Uncle George became part of. I do love that we found this. We can claim this as our discovery, myself and Graham. We cleaned it all up. See the way the graves are around here? This is how it was. But we went through all the parish records. We found out exactly where it was. And we discovered it. So something I'm quite proud of, actually. But I'm going to get back into the main part of the graveyard. I'm going to get covered. I'm going to get stung by nettles here. Oh, thank you. That's nice. In fact, that's a lovely, lovely view of the church, isn't it? Okay, so let's wander back through the graveyard. To another grave which is connected to the Beatles story. And this time it's the grave of a Liverpool businessman, a shipping magnate. His name was George Hignett Warren. So George Hignett Warren was of the family who built Strawberry Field. It was actually his father who built it, but he took it over. Little George Warren, he was only a little boy when he died. The date is quite significant, actually. Sorry, the date he was born is quite significant, 8th of December. So there's another of the graves in St. Peter's, and then we'll head further up. Oh, the summer flowers are gorgeous. Oh, I've missed this place so much, you know. And then we've got the entrance to St. Peter's. Like all the churches closed at the moment. This is part of history really, so I'll show you exactly what it says. Horrible as they are, these are historic moments. Just leaving everything in silence then so you could hear the birds. It's so sweet, so lovely. But where I'm going to bring you now is to the grave of Uncle George, Auntie Mimi's husband George, the guy who brought John Lennon up from the age of 5. This is the family that lived in the cottage. Robert, though, was a war hero. He died in the First World War and was posthumously awarded the Victoria Cross. And then another grave just across the way. Oops! Okay. It's actually been it's been renovated, but the wording there is in loving memory of Bob Paisley, manager of Liverpool Football Club, and hopefully hopefully they're getting the grave ready so they can celebrate with Bob when Liverpool win the championship. I'm just going to take you over this way. In fact, what I'll do is head out through the gate, because we know the schools are closed at the moment. I would never do this when the schools are in session, because the field where the St. Peter's Summer Fete took place on the 6th of July 1957 is now a school. It's now the school playground, but because of lockdown the schools are all closed. Some schools are opening up next week, but not the Liverpool ones. Okay, I'm not going to touch the gate. I'm going to use my foot. There we go. So this is now Bishop Martin's school, but it was an open field, and that's where the St. Peter's Summer Fete took place in July of 1957. According to the quarrymen, who squabble about it all the time, it's just in front there and to the left slightly. But we've heard so many different stories. So here we are in the village at Woolton. Just a nice little walk through the graveyard of St. Peter's. Thanks for watching. Bye everyone.